Today we are going to start how to read a variable. Okay, means here. So here actually we are giving some static values, but I want the user should give an input. Okay, but depends upon input. I want to write some functionality. Okay, so here actually if we want to print something, we have to use what text. That means put string. But whenever you want to get a string, we have to use getS. Use what? GetS. Okay. So now instead of a equal 10, I am giving a equal to getS and b equal to. Okay. Now let's see. So but here what I am doing, I want to get string. I want to get string. Okay. So now let's take a look. I want to execute this program. The program name variables. Okay, first of all, we can go IRB and we can check what is greatest. Okay, then we can come to the programming. So I'm taking a equal to get s. Enter. See, it's waiting. It's blinking. So that means the Ruby is looking waiting for our input. Okay, so I'm giving 10. See, here we have to see two things. One is it's a string. String means what? The value which is enclosed with double quotes, that is called string. Okay. So then it's adding /n. That means new line. What? New line. So now here we have two problems. If you want to add two numbers, first of all, it's a string and it is adding /n at the end of the. Okay. So now I want to take b also. Get s. I'm taking 20. And now I want to do a plus b. See how it is coming? You know, right? If you give 2 plus 2 integers, it is taking as a 5. I mean, it's an addition. But if you give something like this, two strings, whenever you want to add two strings by using plus symbol, it will concatenate, right? It will concatenate. So the problem is, for getting string, I have a getS. For getting integer, what I have to do? Do we have getI? No, we have only getS. So, but we have to do typecasting. So it's not a wide word, okay? Typecasting. Java also we have. Means what? Change one object type to another object type. Means I want to change string object type to integer object. I want to change string object type to integer object. So now I have a string. So it's a pure English language. So just observe how it will be work. Okay. If we want to convert into integer, you have to use a method called to_i, to integer. If you want to convert to string, what will be that? To_, yes. If you want to convert to float, what we have to use? To_f. If you want to convert to array, we have to use to_a. If you want to use to hash, we have to use to hash, we have to use to_h. Like that, we can do type conversions in Ruby. We can do type conversions in Ruby. So now let's take a look. A is a string. Now I want to convert into integer. A.to_. See now a values become integer. /n is also gone. Okay. Now I want to convert b is a string. Actually, I want to convert into integer to_. If I want to add both a.to_i plus b.to_i. See that? That's the way we can convert. We can do typecasting in Ruby. We can convert one object type to another object. Okay. So now what I'm sorry, what I will do, a equal to it is dot to_i giving 30, so it is taking as 30. Why? Because whatever string we are getting, I'm converting into integer. Now I'm giving get s dot to underscore I. I'm giving what? Now, if I want to take a strings only, directly I can take name equal to get s. So I'm giving Kishore, but here it's adding slash n. If you don't want to add slash n at the end of the getting string, we have to use dot chomp. Get s dot chomp. Now see Kishore. See, there is no slash n. Okay, chomp means, right? Chomp, it's cutting the edge. Okay, so it will cut the slash n. Okay, we will see more on this later. Okay, but we can practice this also. So now in a program, what I will do, get s dot to underscore I, get s dot to underscore I. Okay, now let's run the program. Okay, Ruby space variables. Oh, see, it's blinking. Why? Because the very first line I have given a equal to get s dot to underscore I. So I'm giving 30. Again, it's went to fourth line. So again, it's waiting for our input 40. Okay, why? Yeah, it's multiply. Okay, I'm sorry. Addition of given numbers 50. Okay. Now I want to take a name also. Name get dot chomp age get dot to underscore I. Okay, if you think it's a student, I want to give grade. Okay, I want to give what it will call actually instead of percentage in engineering right now.
GPA, CGP.
Sorry,
GPA.
GPA, right?
Yeah.
So GPA actually it's a float, right? Point also will come, right? That means we have to give 2 underscore F. Okay. Now I will do the same thing. S name. I have to use interpolation. Age. Okay, interpolation. GPA. Okay. Okay. But I want some meaningful. I don't want this line. So what I will do now, is enter name. I want to give instructions to user. Okay. Is enter age. Is enter. Now let's take a look. Ruby space on what it's called. Program name is enter name Kishore, age 30, GPA 9.5. Okay, see name Kishore, age 30, GPA is 9.5. So like that we can build a program. Okay, you can build a program. So this is the way we can use typecasting in Ruby. Okay, by using simple methods to underscore I for to convert integers, to underscore s for string, float, array, and hash we can see later. Okay, don't bother about that. So now let's take a look about methods. Very important. Okay, methods. So you already guys know Java, right? So that's why I'm comparing with Java always. Okay, so in Java, if you want to define a method or function, we have to use public a return type like void or int, something like that. I mean, I will let you know. Public void method name, right? Method name, and followed by, if you have any parameters, you can give it like this. You will write it. And if you want to call this method, we have to write main method. Public void main. What is the main method? Java? Anybody know? Public static void
Public
main.
static void main
Yeah. Public static void main
string.
string args. Okay. So then we have to create an object. Then we have to call a method by using object, right? So like that, we have to do a lot of step actually. But in case of Ruby, it's very simple. If you want to define a method, we have to use def keyword. Def means define what method. You can give method name, whatever method name. And actually, we won't be use any curly braces in Ruby for methods. Okay, for methods, we won't be use any curly braces. What is the logic you want to write? You can write it in a method once you have defined, and you have to end that method. End means end only. That's it. And moreover, we won't be write any main methods like public static void main for to call a methods. Why? Because every Ruby is itself having a main method that is called self. Okay, whenever you install the Ruby, okay, there is a one default method that is called self method. So I want to know what is self in IRB. Just go to the IRB. Let's check self. It's a main. See, main object is returning what? Main object. Okay, we can come to know more about the self. Okay, once we come to classes and methods. Okay, but right now we have a self method in our Ruby file. Okay, so now I would like to create a one file. Okay, method. Well, let's save the file. Methods basic. Okay, now how to define a method? Already we know how to define a method by using def keyword and followed by method name. So syntax, you must learn syntaxes, guys. Okay, so def and followed by method name. So I'm taking one method name that is called sample. Okay, so this is the way you can define a method. So in the method, you can write your logic. So I'm writing method name is details. Okay, just meaningful methods. Okay, here I would like to write enter student. Okay, enter student name. So name equal to, I want to get, I'm using Champa to remove slash n at the end. S enter age. Okay, is equal to s dot champ. Okay, now I want to print student details. Okay, so like this we can write it meaningfully. Okay, okay, so now let's save it and let's run the program. Okay, let's see what will happen. So let's go to the our Ruby program, our command prompt. Just run the program. So methods basics.rb, methods underscore basic.rb, click on enter. So it's nothing printed. Why? Because whatever code we have written, it's not independent code. It belongs to one method. Okay, but if you want to call a method, what is the procedure? Actually, this method not at all belongs to any class also. It's an individual method. We have just declared. So how to call a method? So without a class, okay, we can use method name only. Just method name. We can give it just method name. Okay, just method name. So just give that The name is details. That's it. You don't need to use public static void main and all. Okay. Why? Oh, I will tell you. Okay, let's execute this program first. Yeah, see. So let's take Naveen. Okay, age, student details, name, Naveen, and age. Okay, so this is the we can call a methods. Okay, and why? How the Ruby come to know? Why? Because we have a self method. If you put as self here, let's see what will be. See, main is came to picture. Okay. Okay, so like that we have, okay, we can call it methods. So now if we want to pass a parameters, so how to create a parameterized methods? So we know in Java also same. So def method name, okay, we can call any number of parameters, params 1, params 2, okay, not any number of, we have some restricted count, and we can write what is the functional logic we want. We can write it here, and you can end that method. Okay, you can end that method. So what can I do? Well, details, I want to pass name, comma, age. So instead of calling these things here, so whatever parameters we are passing from method, that should be displayed here. But I am not passing any parameters while calling this method. So what it will go? So let's take a look. Same method I'm calling. See, always you need to read the error. If you read the error, 90% problem will be solved. Okay, so see methods.basic.rb file at first line, details, yes, rather than rb file, the first line is details only, yes, and wrong number of arguments. That arguments means what? Parameters only. Okay, arguments, what given 0, but this method details is expecting 2. See, so wrong number of arguments given 0, while you are calling that method given 0, we are not giving any method, any parameters, right? And expected how many? 2, right? Why it's expecting 2? Why? Because we have written 2 parameters. Okay, so now I'm giving, calling the method, I'm giving Kishore. Okay, only one parameter I have given. Let's take a look. See, wrong number of arguments given 1, but expected how many? 2 arguments. But I expecting 2 arguments, but you have sent only 1. Okay, let's give value also, second parameter also. Let's take a look. Yeah, student details, Kishore. See, whatever data you have given, the total data is coming to the picture. Okay, now I want to give one more argument here. I want to give one more argument. I want to give one more argument. I want to give one more argument, but the method actually not accepting. The method is accepting only parameters where I'm trying to pass 3 arguments. Let's take a look what will happen. Details wrong number for given 3, but expected how many? Only 2. That means whatever parameters count you have defined, so that number of arguments only you have to pass it to the method. Apart from that, you should not pass those things. Okay, so like this. I hope it's clear, right? Anybody have any doubt?
No, sir.
Okay, very good. So now let's move one step forward. Okay, how to create a classes in Ruby? How to create a classes in Ruby? So in any programming language, the define a classes is same. In Java also we will use class and followed by constant. Constant or class name, whatever it is. Why I'm giving, and once you have started a class, in Java we have to use curly braces, right? curly braces, right? But instead of curly braces, we can write the functionality, whatever functionality we want to write it here, we can write it here. And we have to end the class. We have to end the class. In the class, you can define what are the methods you want to create and what are the variables you want. First of all, what is a class? A class is a blueprint of your application. That means we can define any number of methods and we can define any number of variables. Okay. Suppose if we want to take a calculator class, okay, we can define what are the methods we have to create for class calculator, like addition, subtraction, multiplication, and all we can create. Okay, and we can call those methods by creating object of the class. Okay, so let's take a look how to create a class. Yeah, so let's take I'm taking new file. Okay, I'm saving the file name is called classes.rp. Okay, if we want to define a class, so the class name always be a constant. So constant means what? We already discussed it. Constant, how to declare a constant?
Unix, sir. That means no values can be changed.
No. How to declare a class? I mean, how to declare a constant? The constant. Oh, how to declare an instance variable?
Capital letters.
Yeah, constant will always start with what?
Capital letters.
Capital letter. Very good. Very
Capitals.
good. Yeah, capital letter. How to? What about instance variables?
Yeah. Stand at the rates.
Very good. Class.
Double at the rate.
Very good. Yeah. Yeah. Very good. Yeah. So means like the class always be a constant. We have to start with a capital letter. So let's take a look. So class and followed by class name. So I'm taking the class name is calculator only. Okay, calculator only. And the end. Now in a calculator, I want to define some set of methods called addition, subtraction, multiplication. So I'm defining one method called addition. So it is accepting two parameters. Okay, and okay. Now I want to give put as addition. I don't want to give any. Just I'm giving a plus b. That's it. Okay. Addition value is something like that. Okay. So now I have a class. Okay, and I have a method. So already we know how to call a method by using method name. Simply just I'm giving addition and followed by 10, 20. So just I'm expecting the answer is 30, right? So just take a look. Okay, so what is the file name? Classes.rb. Yeah, it's giving error. C. Classes.rb at 7th line means this one. Okay, undefined method addition for main object. Undefined method addition for main object. So that means what? It is expecting a variable or method name, but already we have, right? Why it is not recognizing means the addition method is not an individual method. It belongs to some class. It belongs to some class. That means whenever you want to call a method from the class, you need to create an object. In any programming, in Java also, you declare one function in a class. If you want to call it, you need to create an object. Object name, class name equal to new file name dot something. We creating an object, right? The same way we can create. We have to create an object. What is the object? What is the object? Anybody?
Physical entity, sir. Which is physically present and having states and behaviors.
Okay. Instance of class. Okay, instance of a class. Okay, means what? we can create an object for this class. By using that object, we can operate these methods. That means we can call those methods. Okay, how to create an object? How to create an object? So it's very simple. It's very simple. First of all, I want to create an object. You have to give an object name. Whatever object name you can give it, you can give it equal. Class name. What is the class name you want to create for object? Dot new. That's it. Very simple. Object name equal to class name dot new. Okay, let's take a look. I want to create an object for what? I want to create an object for class called calculator. So I'm taking cal c as object name equal to what is the class name? Calculator dot. If you want to call this addition method, you have to use cal c object name dot addition. Very simple. Okay, so I don't want to pass any arguments here. Okay, let's pass it. Already we have seen, right, that error. 30. I want to print this object, what exactly it is. Calculator and some hexadecimal number. So whenever I have seen one constant followed by some hexadecimal number, that is called object. So for which object? It's a constant. What is that constant? Calculator. This is the object for class called calculator. Whenever I have seen the hexadecimal number like this. Okay. Now I want to create one more method. Def subtraction. Okay. So I'm taking two variables. S a minus b at the end. Okay. Now I want to call the method. How to call that? Cal c dot subtraction. Okay. Now let's run the program. Oh, it's giving error at 6th line. This is the 6th line. Subtraction. Wrong number of on given 0. 40 comma. Okay, so like that we can create a classes and that we can declare the methods and we can call it. Okay, so anybody have any doubt till now regarding classes and all? No. Okay, now if I want to print puts and outside of the class, what it will be? Let's take a look. Definitely it's a main, but if I put self in a class, what it will be? You need to try like this actually. You need to play with the code. You need to play with the code actually. Okay, so now let's take a look. See, it's printed class name. Why? Because self means what? Main. If you declare a self in a class, what is the main? Class name only, right? That's why it's printed class name. But if I declare self, in a method, if I declare a self in a method, what it will be? First self is printed calculator because it's in a class level, and second self is in a method. It's printed what? Object. The method is in a method, the self is acting as a object. Okay, object. So you guys need to prepare a notes for variables and methods and classes tomorrow. And you guys need to